everybody, to Ravenstar's Witching Hour. I'm your host, Solaris BlueRaven. My wonderful guest tonight is Tessa Dick. And Tessa, it's wonderful to have you on board tonight. Thanks for staying up so late with us. I know it's a little bit earlier over there on the West Coast.
Yeah, but I've been falling asleep by 9, and here it's 10. But I'm jazzed, and I'll be awake.
Well, good. Well, we're happy to have you, and chat's happy to have you. And if anybody has a question in there, I think somebody might have. I don't know if Jen has a question. It looks like that's impressive considering. But never mind. They're just making a comment about you getting published. But you are self-published, right? Did you get a real publisher, or are you just doing it yourself?
I have 2 real publishers in Italy. Mm-hmm. One is Electric Sheep Comics, and I don't remember who the other one is.
Cool. That's great.
But Dario Rivarosa translated Philip K. Dick Remembering Firebright and Conversations with Philip K. Dick into Italian and got real publishers, so he's kind of my agent too.
That's wonderful.
He's also fluent in French, and another actually a film producer, Denis, I think it's Villeneuve. Mm-hmm. No, that's the guy who directed Blade Runner. It's Denis something. It's like Dennis, but it's French. Mm-hmm. And as I'm fond of saying, it doesn't have to make sense. It's French. Mm-hmm. I'll get his name eventually. Anyway, he's actually interviewed me for a biographical film about Phil, and he's trying to get a French publisher for me. They didn't want my current book, but they do want a biography of Phil, so I really should get on this old biography, and I'm trying to multitask here and redo it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I'm looking for his name. The only way I can find it is Delestrac, Delestrac. Mm-hmm. We're Facebook friends. That's how I found it.
Oh, nice. That's awesome.
Yeah. So, and he can do a translation into French. He's fluent in English, but he's French.
Mm-hmm. Nice.
I've always held that you have to be insane to learn French if you didn't grow up speaking it.
Yeah.
So I guess I'm not crazy enough. It's really difficult for me.
Is it? Yeah, I don't speak French. I know a few words here and there. Nothing I would pass a test for. That's for sure.
I can sing Frere Jacques. That's about it.
Well, considering where every country's landing right now, who knows? I think it's all one big blur anyways with language. It's kind of like that movie. I guess it is kind of like Blade Runner when you think about it. The languages get to bleed over into each other, and you never know what they're going to come up with. 100 years from now, who knows what English will be like?
Oh, well, English is nothing like it used to be. Mm-hmm. They made me read Chaucer, and then they made me try to read Beowulf when I was in college. Mm-hmm. Oh, my. It's not the same language. Chaucer I could understand. Beowulf I had to translate.
Mm-hmm. Right. Well, let's just think about all the texting nowadays where people just abbreviate everything anyway. So, like I said, 100 years from now, who knows what it's going to be like? Wild stuff.
Oh, yeah. I look at SMH, and I've got LOL and Raffle, but, I have to. SMH to me says smile, mm-hmm. and actually it's shaking my head.
Yeah, I don't really get some of the stuff. I'm kind of back. I guess I'm old school then when it comes down to terminology. But yeah, I put the smiley mm-hmm. faces out, but some people don't even like smiley faces, so I still use them in chat.
I've got one. It's a kitty cat. I'll put it in chat.
And you like your kitties. I know that. I like my
Oh,
kitties
yeah.
too. I have 2 at the house and a dog. So they're good.
They usually help me talk on the phone, but they've all gone to sleep.
Well, the one I heard purring a while ago. That was earlier, though.
I think that was Slinky.
Yeah.
Which one are you, kid? Oh, that's Blackie. They're hard to tell apart, but I can tell.
Mm-hmm.
I just had to touch her this time. Now I woke her up. Sorry, Blackie.
They're good company. There's no doubt about it. Yeah. Sounds like you have had them for a while there. So yeah. So if I were you, I would definitely finish up that biography. You know, I guess you could scan the data, just scan all of the stuff you've typed.
My all-in-one printer doesn't scan text very well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm better off just retyping since I have to edit it anyway. Oh, I love what Jerry just said. French is easy. Just slur all your words.
That's true, isn't it? After how many drinks?
And I made the mistake of trying to learn Russian.
Yeah? I like Russian. Was it hard for you?
I thought I wouldn't have trouble with their alphabet because it's a lot like Greek, but I have trouble with it.
Yeah, it seems kind of complex, but I do like it. Yeah.
I get that when it looks like a P, it's really an R and a few things like that, but I still kind of stumble trying to read it. And I can say please and thank you, but I don't remember which one is which. There's Pajolsta and Spasiba.
Oh, Pajolsta. Is Spasiba? I better check before I get busted. But I think I think that's what it is. But I know what you're saying. Pajolsta. Yeah, I kind of remember. I'm trying to remember. I used to know some things. But yeah, to go back into another timeline there.
Magic search machine. I think it's. Oh, I'm on.
Yeah, there's applications.
Google. Yeah. Let's see if I can spell it right.
Well, yeah, they have that, and then they have the applications that you can download. So, interpolations, like Star Trek.
Spasiba is thank you.
Okay, that's not Spasiba?
I spelled it wrong, but they understood it.
That figures. Yeah, isn't that scary? It kind of figures things out, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I see what you're saying. Yep. Yeah, very interesting. Wow, technology, huh?
No.
Everybody's getting to learn another language here tonight on the show, or at least a few words. That's always good.
Okay. I'm going to have to do thank you, translate Russian, because I can't spell it. Oh, Spasibo.
Yeah, that's a Spasiba, isn't it? I could have sworn.
That's what I thought when I had the audio thing to learn Russian. They said Spasiba. This is Spasibo.
I would have said A at the end. Spasiba. I could have sworn it's Spasiba. You guys can confirm that in the chat if you speak Russian. If not, figure it out one day.
I can still
Spasiba.
Carry a simple conversation in German, but I've lost most of the vocabulary. I'm losing English too now. Well, Jim says your welcome is Pashalta.
Wait a second. Pashalsta? Pashalsta. Or maybe not.
Pashalta?
I don't know if she spelled that right or he did. But yeah, okay. So I'm sorry, you guys. We're in another orbit. It's called different languages. So yeah, it's still all good. Yeah, but I like the way they're translating your data. I think that's great. They're translating your books. That's awesome.
Yeah, I have a short piece in a French collection. I can't tell you the title. It's French. Let's see if
do
I
you write
have
poetry
it
at
here.
all, Tessa? Have you ever written any poems, like poetry?
Lots and lots of poetry. I actually got through, oh, that isn't it. Got through a month as a poor student with the award I got for poetry.
Mm-hmm.
They had a contest, and the first prize was $200, and I really needed it, and I won it.
All right. Good for you. Hey, you should put a book out in poetry.
I got another $100 for second place in short stories.
Mm-hmm. That's pretty neat.
And, I was a single mother working, going to school. This was after Phil passed away, so I didn't even have my free babysitter anymore. Mm. And that $300 was put to good use.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Yeah.
Good. Yeah, no kidding.
Anyway, yeah, I have a collection of stories and poems called Quachi, Quachi, and other stories and poems. And I kind of filled it out with some clip art.
Nice.
And it runs the gamut. I have one story that's kind of science fiction. It's a future in which the robots on the battlefield, the robot medics, decide that the best way to deal with combat injuries was to stop the fighting.
Interesting. That's kind of cool. I like that. Is that done?
Yeah, it's on Amazon.
Wow, I haven't seen that one. I'll have to check it out. That sounds like a good book.
Remember Quachi? I was inspired by a documentary about an abandoned temple complex in, I think it was Peru, somewhere in South America. And it was a stone maze. And they weren't sure exactly how it was used, but they were sure it had to be some sort of religious ritual involved. Mm-hmm. So I imagined what it might be. And that's the story of the title, Quachi.
I like that. That's very cool. That could be a movie or a spin-off of a sci-fi or something. Yeah, a lot of good stuff.
It wouldn't be sci-fi. It's kind of fantasy about ancient history, ancient tribes. Nice. Anyway, yeah. I've done a lot of writing. I've been an editor, and I've been a public relations assistant, which meant I spent hours writing press releases.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that could be a lot of work.
Yeah, but my boss's name went on them.
I figures. You should write them for yourself now. Write your own press release. I'm sure you do anyway. But yeah.
Well, our public relations class where we learned all that stuff, we called it, and we used the whole word, BS class.
I can imagine. Yeah. Go ahead.
Something doesn't feel right when you have to spin a bad thing and try to make it positive.
Exactly. Well, the school systems, I know we've touched on it before, but the educational systems are quite weird these days. I mean, I don't think anybody's learning a darn thing, and then they're so outdated. Every time you turn around, it's the information's old or it's non-valid, and it's a miracle if anybody learns anything in any class. I guess back in the old days, people had more of a potential to learn something. I don't know.
Well, I think it's the schools. You line up and march, and then you sit still. Yep. Which is especially hard for the boys. I believe that they should teach children to read and write and do simple arithmetic and then turn them loose in a good library and let them study what they want.
Yep, I agree. Totally.
I actually took my son out of a school that was trying to force him to do math when he wasn't ready for it and put him in a different school.
Mm-hmm.
He was in 6th grade, and I got him into a junior high, and they said, well, we'll give him a couple weeks and see if he can handle 7th grade. Mm-hmm. Within 3 days, he was in 8th grade.
Oh, wow. Mm.
They didn't push the math until he was ready.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, when they're teaching that Common Core garbage also, that's just stupid stuff. I don't know if he got subjected to that.
No, he's 40. He'll be 45 years old.
Oh,
soon.
Okay, good. Yeah, so basically he had the real stuff.
Core.
Yeah, that stuff is ridiculous. I don't know if you've looked at it or not, but I'm like, I can't believe some of the garbage they're forcing down the throats of the children. So.
Oh, it's horrible.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
it's awful.
It makes them stupid. I mean, it's bad enough that we have other things going on in this world, but you put that in there on their plate and forget it. Game's over. It's wild. Very, very wild. That's what it's interesting,
I work out arithmetic. It's not really math, it's arithmetic in steps, but not the crazy steps that they demand in Common Core.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a whole labyrinth, it's a detour to nowhere. It's ridiculous. Yeah. It really just makes you scratch your head and say, why,
People who have actually learned it claim that it works just fine, but I can't do it that way.
No, to me, it just totally messes your brain up. Yeah.
If you come up with the right answer, does it really matter how you got there?
Very true. Yep. Yeah. I like streamlining anyway. For me, I like everything very, very, streamlined, just cause and effect, black and white. I don't like to take detours if I don't have to and do unnecessary steps, which is what I think they're doing. It seems that way anyway. It's foolish. Yeah. So how are your kids doing?
Well, my son is doing very well. And my granddaughter is a loan manager for a Lexus dealer. She never finished high school, and she got hired just to sell cars because she's got a good figure. Mm-hmm. And then they found out she was smart, and they sent her to college and made her a loan manager.
Good for her. That's awesome. It's interesting how synchronicity works.
Yeah. Let's see. Jim wants to know if I'm on Twitter. I don't know what my Twitter handle is. It's either my email or my name.
Oh, you were on Twitter. You know what? I was looking for you on Twitter, and I didn't see you on there, but I wasn't sure. Let me know, because I'm on there, too. I'll follow you.
If I can find my profile, I'll post it in chat. It might be my email, Tuffy777. Or it might be my name. Let me see. Come on, give me my profile, you evil machine. Yeah, it's at Tuffy777.
Okay, that's probably why I didn't find you. So that's good to know. People can follow you and keep up with your work. That's awesome.
Tuffy was my best cat.
Mm-hmm. Was that the tabby or no? What kind of cat was that?
She was gray.
Okay.
Our cat had kittens before we could get her to the vet.
Mm-hmm.
For stitches, that's what we call it. And all the other kittens got adopted right away, but nobody wanted Tuffy because her growth was stunted and her front legs were kind of short, and she turned out to be the best cat ever. She was gray with some brown patches, like a tortie, but gray and brown, or gray and orange.
Sounds cute. Yeah. Cats do have unique personalities. I know my cats have very, very different personalities. It's really interesting.
Yeah. Tuffy was really great. She lived to be 19.
That's great.
and her probable father, Cubby, an old gray tabby, lived to be 20 that we know of. We aren't sure how old he was when we got him.
Mm-hmm. Wow. Yeah, they do live a long time if you take care of them. They stay indoors. I know a lot of indoor cats live to be, quite old. So hopefully they'll stick around for a while. Sounds like yours are fairly young now anyway.
And she's fussing. I think she had a nightmare.
Your kitties. So your cats have nightmares?
She does that sometimes. She'll start fussing, and I have to wake her up.
That's wild.
Yeah.
I know my dog does that. Not the cats, though. They're usually just out like logs. Although they're very sensitive.
I miss my dog.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're good company.
Bandit was a big Rottweiler Lab mix.
Mm-hmm.
I think he was at least 14, probably 15, and just, I could tell he was in pain and only staying alive because he loved me. So I had to have the vet come to the house and, end it for him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's sad. It's hard when they go. Get really attached to them. There's no doubt about it. Are you doing any presentations anytime soon? Are you going to be talking about any of your new work?
Well, I haven't been invited to any conventions or anything.
Mm-hmm. You'd think you'd go to like the sci-fi conventions or something like that.
Well, that requires money and transportation and and time away from all these doctors. Right.
Yeah, you need to streamline those doctors. That's ridiculous. And if they find out you have really good insurance, boy, they'll just take advantage of that too. So
I'm on the state, Medicaid.
Maybe that's why they're giving you the runaround.
They always pay. As long as you get approval, they pay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. One more year and I can get Medicare, which is a little better. I'm limited as to which doctors I can see and where they're located.
And you don't even know their qualifications. The problem I have with all that is you just don't know how professional these people really are, where they come from, what schools they really attended. And it's like Russian roulette, some of these doctors.
Well, we have a good medical center here, but I will never go to their emergency room again. I went there once and I walked out.
I don't blame you.
I arrived by ambulance with a bad burn on my foot, open bleeding sores because it had been treated for a while by the doctor and it just wasn't getting better. Well, first off, the floor was dirty. Second, I noticed the nurses were not wearing gloves. And one of them removed the bloody bandages from my foot and then went to the next patient without washing his hands. So I got up and walked out.
Good for you. I don't know what's wrong with these people. I mean, there's no protocol anymore. Where were they trained? How many years ago was this?
Not long. I think, well, actually, that must have been in 2007. So it was a long time ago. It just doesn't seem like it.
Yeah, you should have contacted the management or something.
They chased me out to the parking lot. I was going to sign out at the desk, but I saw all these people surrounding me, so I just kept going outside. And they had security come, and then they had an actual cop come. And they tried to make me 5150, crazy, so they could drag me back in.
Oh, geez.
I just stood my ground. I said, "You're not treating me. You're incompetent."
Oh, good for you.
They gave up.
God. Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah.
Well, that's
boy,
amazing.
People are following me. Shall I get paranoid? They're following me on Twitter.
There's a lot of that going on.
I rarely tweet, but I try to retweet things from Radio Free Album because I just love the movie that they made. It's low budget, so you won't have a bunch of special effects, but it tells a good story.
Nice. Yeah, you have to watch out for those Twitter trolls.
You'll think it's super faithful to the book, and you won't notice the things they changed because even though they're different, they're still faithful to the book.
Yeah,
you have to make some changes for visual media, and they did, but it's still very, very good.
That's always good to know.
And I think it was on Netflix. I think it's on Amazon Prime now.
Have to check it out.
And of course, DVD and Blu-ray. And you don't need a huge screen to enjoy it. Although it helps.
Yeah, everybody has a big plasma.
And the dead cat at the beginning isn't real. It's a teddy bear. Okay?
Oh, that's good
to
know.
Were harmed.
That's very important, actually. For us animal lovers.
We're running out of time.
I know it. So where do you want to go? We have a half an hour here. What would you like to discuss? Anything in particular you want to dive into?
Oh, I do want to emphasize that the new Blade Runner is still worth seeing.
Okay, I still haven't seen it, so I guess I could see it. But it's 3 hours. I'll have to just, watch it at my place.
Home you'll have a pause button.
Right, yeah. Because I can't stand sitting and watching anything for that long. So, yeah.
It really gets good in the last half hour when they bring in Rick Deckard. And they don't try to cover up his age. In fact, his character looks older than Harrison Ford looks when he's doing promos.
That's interesting.
Talk shows and stuff. Yeah.
Huh.
You can tell he's old. Yeah. Although it's kind of unrealistic the way he can still hold his own in a fist fight.
Oh, naturally. Yeah. So have you ever met Harrison Ford? Did you ever meet with him?
No, never did.
Just curious. Yeah.
I liked him in, why am I blank? Indiana Jones movies. Yeah.
That was good. He was great in those.
His role in The Fugitive, I don't blame him, but it was nothing. Tommy Lee Jones stole that film. But I like the Indiana Jones. Star Wars, he was okay.
Yeah, Star Wars was Star Wars. Everybody's all flipped out on the Star Wars sequels, and I'm telling you, I'm just not into it at all. I could care less about Star Wars or any of the sequels right now. I think it was overkill. Yeah. They burned it into the ground.
Yeah, I haven't bothered. I think I saw the one with the Ewoks.
Yeah, the Return of the Jedi.
I don't know which one that was.
I think it's the Return of the Jedi. I can't remember now. But yeah, I mean, the first and the second one were pretty good. But I couldn't stand it anymore. I just got to the point where every time I turned around, especially these past summers, they've been cranking out so many spin-offs that it's been just stupid. I don't even want to watch it. And in most of it, there's a political statement involved. It's not even really about entertainment or anything, really. It's just about politics. So, yeah, I just kind of lost interest in all that.
And they've killed Star Trek, too.
Yeah. Yeah,
I just can't get into the spin-offs.
No, I never really did either. Although I did like Captain Janeway. I did like that series. Voyager, I used to like that back in the old days. That was pretty good. Of course, I digress.
I like some of the movies.
Yeah, I haven't been to a film in eons. I mean, I got so turned off after I was interfaced with that technology. I just don't watch a whole lot these days. It has to be something very important. Yeah, something really.
The first Star Trek movie was, I didn't like it. The one where they're.
Feature.
Of course, I like the one where Spock dies, and the one where he gets reborn.
That was pretty good.
But I think the best was the one with Oh, come on,
Wrath of
Khan.
Khan. Wrath of Khan.
Yeah,
That was really good. I agree with you on that one. That was classic. Yeah.
that was one of the best episodes in the original series.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was good.
And Ricardo Montalban makes a good villain.
Yeah, he did, didn't he? He's not alive anymore. I guess he's gone now. I can't remember. But yeah, he was good in that. It's a very good film.
Wow.
Yeah, it seems like a lifetime, doesn't it, to just look back on some of these old films and everything. And the actors, a lot of those actors aren't here anymore. We lost Leonard Nimoy, and it just seems like they
And
just
authors,
yeah.
authors are dying off too.
Mm-hmm.
Latest, I guess, was Harlan Ellison.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I heard that. Yeah, it seems to me like it makes you wonder where it's heading. Where's everything heading with it, writing and authors and the movie industry? I still think that the solution is that there won't be any actors anymore. They're just going to use holographic entertainment. It's just going to be a resurrection of, like, say, Michael Jackson, like they do in Hollywood, or actually out in Vegas, where they just have holograms entertaining. And they won't pay for rock concerts with real people anymore. It'll be holographic concerts where they just see the after image of the actor or the entertainer. I think that's going to be the future. I really do.
You know, I like this small town where I live. We have real people on stage.
Mm-hmm.
And you know them because they are locals.
Mm-hmm.
And some of them are really, really good.
Yeah.
But they have day jobs because, only the tip-top bands and artists make any money.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's so true. They make, it's like overpaid entertainers too. I mean, some of those people in the music industry alone, they make lucrative amounts of money. I never really understood that, because it seems to me like they're just not, I know they're worth something on stage, but I think they get a heck of a lot of money. I just don't see that, millions and millions of dollars for gigs. So
many of them will tell you that they make money on tour, but they don't make much on the albums.
Mm-hmm.
That's why they tour.
Yeah, I've heard that.
But the very, very most popular ones will end up being producers. And they get a share of you don't want a share of the net. There is never any net. You want a share of the gross.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. Definitely maintain control if you can, whether it's your writing or it's, music, whatever it is. They certainly will take it from you. Take the percentage.
Yeah.
No doubt
But
about
back
it.
to Blade Runner.
Mm-hmm.
The first movie, had its faults, and boy, did it have faults. But the second movie had these huge plot holes that you'll notice if you watch it more than once. You go, hey, wait a minute.
Mm-hmm.
And even so, I enjoyed it. I did kind of multitask during the first 2 hours, doing other things to avoid boredom. But the more I watch it, the more it kind of grows on you.
I'll have to check it out. Do they still have the Tyrell Corporation, or is that long gone?
No, Tyrell was killed in the first movie, so now it's Wallace.
Oh, okay, I wasn't sure if there was like a spin-off and the corporation lives or something, but yeah. That's really interesting.
Yeah.
Well, don't you think that the whole concept behind it is, really it's the technology we're really talking about. I mean, minus the movie, it's really the message behind it all, which is really about what's going on behind the scenes in Black Sciences. That's what I see anyway.
Oh, they're all about Harrison Ford in chat, and Sungrazer just pointed out that Harrison was a carpenter. That's right. He was working on building sets when he got his first role.
Yeah, I heard that. That was Star Wars, right?
I think so. And boy, he can act.
Yeah, he's good. Getting up there.
I think, wasn't he in Witness? When Amish Boy has to testify?
Yeah, I believe so.
I
He's
think
done
that
some good
was
films.
Harrison Ford.
Yeah, he's done some good stuff.
Yeah.
He seems like he's just
Yeah.
himself as an actor, though. I don't really, I don't know. He seems like the same person in every role he does. So you can't really tell if that's just who he is, or I don't know, maybe it's an alter. But it is interesting. He is a good actor, though. I'll give him credit for that.
Yeah, he was the star of Witness.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, sometimes that's all you need. I mean, Jimmy Stewart was always himself.
Oh, I love Jimmy Stewart. He was great.
Clark Gable, same thing.
Wow. Yeah, those are timeless, huh? They're all gone now. That's too bad.
Yeah, I can't believe Harlan Ellison was 84.
Wow. Neither can I.
I still remember him in the early 70s. I think he must have been around 30.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, time flies. I'll tell you right now. I can't believe it. It's like, just goes so quick. It really does. Feels like I've lived a billion lifetimes. Go ahead.
He seemed like a kid off the mean streets, full of fight. Mm-hmm. And I guess with the life he led, he needed to be that way, but I never considered him a friend.
Mm-hmm.
But,
did you have any real friends in Hollywood? I mean, is there anybody out there who stands out insofar as writers go that were really good friends to you or anything?
Well, I really like Norman Spinrad.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure about Tim Powers. I think he's okay, but I don't really, pal around or anything. We just run into each other from time to time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you always wonder about those circles out there.
Theodore Sturgeon was just a doll. Really nice man.
Mm-hmm. That's good. I think there's some nice people still. I don't know, somewhere out there in the weird world of Hollywood, there's some good people still there in the state. Has to be. I mean, you're still around. You're still there. And, it just seems like it's been so saturated with weird that, but I know there's some really good people. They're just in between the spaces.
Yeah. Well, you get to know in a small town who you want to hang out with and who you want to just not make an enemy out of them.
Mm-hmm. Right. Yeah.
I really think it suits me. We're not even an incorporated city. We're just a community.
I like that. Yeah.
And I'm on a mountain, so I'm away from the city, really away from it.
Mm-hmm. I can relate. That's where I live on a mountain, too. I like that, too. Yeah.
And bet you can see the stars.
Mm-hmm.
I missed them so much down in the flatland.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you can't see anything with the city lights. That's for darn sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad you're still over there, and some other good people are still there as well. Because it seems to me like the politics in California are pretty crazy right now. So, hold on for the ride. Of course, it's getting weird everywhere, but yeah.
Well, I keep telling people I'm California born and raised and never managed to escape.
That's funny. But you got a lot of people moving over there. We were getting a lot of Californians. I was just mentioning this the other day. We're getting a lot of Californians coming over here to Colorado, too. And I don't know why. I guess it's because the cost of living or something. But it seems like we're getting an awful lot of people coming in waves, so.
Yeah. Oh, and Colorado is beautiful.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's still pretty here.
I got to go there last year. That's about the farthest. Yeah, that is the farthest I've ever been from home.
Is it? That's nice.
Yeah, some friends actually bought me airline tickets, and one of them went with me, or I never would have made it.
Mm-hmm.
But, the Philip K. Dick Festival in Fort Morgan.
Mm-hmm.
If I ever left California, I'd certainly consider Fort Morgan.
Mm-hmm.
They're the nicest people.
That's great. Yeah. I think you went to his grave, too, didn't you? feels great when you were out here.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was hoping to go again this year, but the festival wasn't held, and I'm not in on why.
Mm.
But
Yeah, I wonder.
I guess there was just not enough motivation to do it again.
Mm-hmm. Makes you wonder if they're not going to have one like in California or something.
Oh, they have that film festival in New York, but I can't imagine going to New York.
No. Yeah, I used to like to travel.
And I've seen the films, so.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and some of those people, I don't know. They just seem kind of superficial, I guess. Not the ones you went to with this festival, but it just seems to me like it's all just a game. Everything is very, very interesting. It's persona.
Or they're making money.
Right. Yeah, at somebody else's expense. Yeah, that too.
Yeah.
It's amazing how successful people can be when they die. When they leave the world, and then people appreciate them a little bit more, right? At least it seems that way.
So.
I always said that my books would probably take off after I'm dead, and then all of a sudden they're going to be like a cult classic because people, they don't appreciate anything until you're gone, and then of course they're like, "Where'd that woman go that knew all this about this time?" It's just that kind of thing.
Phil used to talk about that, how so many authors became rich and famous after they died. Mm-hmm. Like Day of the Locust. Of course, I'm blank on the author's name.
Not sure who that was.
Nathaniel West, I think.
I'll look it up. But yeah, so that person was successful after he died, huh?
Yeah, the movie was made after he died.
Oh, Hollywood takes advantage of it. Yeah, they don't give him a cent because, well, who they have to pay? You said Nathaniel West?
Well, they have to pay. Yeah, Nathaniel West.
That's right. Yeah, they don't want to pay anybody for anything. They just want to take everything and then make the money.
This isn't telling me that he died, but he was born in his book was published in 1939. So I'm assuming he's dead.
Right. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I mean, unless he's 150.
Well, unless he's in transhumanism mode, right? Philip was born in 1928, right? Is that right, Tessa? Phil was born in 1928?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was trying to remember that because my mom was born in 1928. I thought that was interesting. Yeah.
Oh, his name isn't spelled the usual way. He died in 1940, and the film was made in the 70s. Yeah. It was a great film and a great book, too.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, they can really cheat the heirs more easily than the author himself.
Right. And they seem to.
Yeah.
I'm not sure how fast they can take the rights of the author. I can't remember. I guess it's as soon as the person's gone, I guess when they die, I guess somebody can just go ahead and take their information. I'm not sure.
Phil was alive and he got paid for Blade Runner, but he didn't live long enough to really enjoy it.
Mm-hmm. Right. Yeah, he's missed. There's no doubt about it. I think he would have been awesome had he stayed alive. And I know he's alive in a different form, obviously, but yeah.
He didn't even get to see the premiere of Blade Runner.
Yeah. Well, how did he die again? What was his cause of death?
He had a stroke.
Oh.
He suffered all his life from high blood pressure.
Mm-hmm.
And, plus he was born premature, and preemies tend not to live as long as full-term babies, but he was only 53. It was a complete shock.
That's super young, if you ask me. Yeah, that's really a shame.
Yeah.
Oh, good. There's no doubt about it. Well, and all that stress too. It doesn't help when you're under a lot of pressure. I'll tell you that much. It just adds more tension to the body. The body endures an awful lot of pressure just living in everyday life. But add the BS that comes from just all the propaganda and mainstream and the trolls and everything else. It's a lot of stress. I mean, even nowadays, I think it's extremely stressful for the average bear to even be out there and even putting themselves out there in front of the masses.
Yeah. And he was really, in his last days, he was really upset that he didn't have a better relationship with his daughters.
Mm-hmm.
Anne would not let him see Laura.
Really?
He did not get to see her between her being age 6 and 18.
Oh, wow. That stinks. What was the problem?
Apparently, one of his stepdaughters had accused him of child abuse, and I don't believe it was true, not for a minute.
No. Well, you would know. Yeah, that's too bad.
Yeah, really. At least Lisa got to visit a few times while she was growing up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, people are weird. I'll tell you what, there's so many psychological games that are played these days. It makes you wonder. It just makes you wonder what the motive is behind a lot of that, creating all the rifting.
I made sure that he got to see Christopher often.
Mm-hmm.
Christopher was Daddy's boy, always was. His first word wasn't Mama, it was Dada.
Mm-hmm. That's funny. It's great. Yeah. I'm sure he appreciated that. Being able to see them. To me, it seems like family is extremely significant, and even your loved ones, your marriage is, I've always said that a spouse is a big deal. I mean, being married and having that kind of partnership it's better than being alone, in my opinion, with the right person, obviously. But yeah, it's a shame that people play mind games. Life's too short. You can't do that. I mean, those moments are lost. He can't get those moments back with his family or anything. So it's really strange.
Yeah, well, I think Phil just could not be faithful.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's part of it, probably. What sign was he again? Zodiac sign? I forgot.
Well, when he was born, he was a Sagittarius. If he had been full term, he would have been Pisces.
Oh, okay. Interesting. Wow. That's very interesting.
Well, he was twins, born 2 months premature.
Mm-hmm. That's right. He had a sister and he lost her, right?
Yeah, she died at about the age of 6 weeks. They were both very small, but of course she was smaller.
Mm-hmm.
Girls tend to start out smaller and stay smaller than men.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he always hoped that Jane would be reincarnated and he could meet her.
Oh, well, maybe she was. Do you think she might have been reincarnated?
I really don't know.
Mm.
It seems to me that even the cultures that believe in reincarnation are trying to escape from it.
Mm-hmm. That's true. I agree with that too. Well, I don't want to be slapped back here. If I transfer out and I want to break orbit with this world, I don't want to have to come back. So hopefully they do have that objective where they could just go into whatever they want to go into in dimensional space and field. And yeah, nothing's worse than saying, "Oh, you have to come back and reincarnate." For what? Another BS scenario? I'm not saying it's all bad, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Do you think Phil would have wanted to reincarnate or no?
I don't know. Probably not. He probably wanted to go to what he called the palm tree garden.
Mm-hmm. That's funny. What's that supposed to be?
Heaven.
Or
Eden.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, he lives on through the writing, and so do you. I mean, anybody who's an author out there, your writing lives on. I mean, that's the beauty of it. At least for now, until they start massive book burnings. and of course re-editing everything in the digitized world. But for now, we're out there, and the message is there, and that's the beauty of it. That's the voice of your soul and spirit, if you ask me. That's how I see writing, anyway.
Yeah. I do wish they'd quit rewriting history.
Oh, yeah, well, that's another thing. Like I said, in 100, 200 years from now, do you think it's going to matter? What's going to be here? Planet of the Apes gone bad? I mean, God only knows. But I can only imagine, taking the time machine and just going into that timeline and seeing a couple of 100 years from now what this place is going to be like. And I'm telling you, it's probably going to be really strange. Who knows? But what do you think?
I don't know. I'm really worried about this transhuman movement, combining people with machines. It's one thing if you've lost a limb and you can get a mechanical leg or arm. It's quite another to hook yourself up to a computer.
Right. Well, that's what I was interfaced with, was the artificial intelligence telepathy program. And yeah, that's real and they're doing it. And the next step would be full-blown interface. Can you imagine being, first of all, you're technologically interfaced with the communication system, and then when you die, that technology is interfaced with your brainwave activity, so part of your essence gets interconnected, interfaced with the ghost record, or whatever you want to call it, with the AI. So I can tell you there's something strange going on with the whole thing. So who knows? I mean, that's what I wonder about Phil. Was he interfaced to some degree, and what happened to him? I kind of wonder because of the books he wrote. So you just don't know.
At least I can leave the phone at home when I go to the market.
That's right. Yeah. Well, I remember the pagers,
You get yourself chipped. I remember pagers. You have to find a payphone. Now you can't find a payphone.
No.
You can't even find a call box.
I know, it's ridiculous.
And there are places where there's no signal for your cell phone.
Well, they have signals everywhere here. I live up in the mountains. Let me tell you something. Every tree that they wanted to knock down has been knocked down, so they can put all their towers around, and everything is completely, technologically savvy up here. They don't care. They've got it all wired.
Yeah. Well,
really unfortunate. Yeah.
I really worry about how much I depend upon the internet now. I was dragged into it kicking and screaming. Didn't want it, but I had to go online for my job.
Yeah. They kind of suck you in, don't they?
Yeah. Back in the days of AOL.
Well, it seems like
the dial-up connection.
Oh, God, that was a pain in the, Yeah, no, totally. Well, it's all changing, but yeah, pretty soon I think we're just going to blink our eyes and we'll all be interfaced. And, hey, everybody just gets a download from not source, not spirit, but the communication system from AI. How's that sound?
No, thank you.
Yeah, I think that's where we're heading.
Reminds me of my novel, The Darkening of the Light.
Yeah.
A woman gets a brain chip and everything goes wrong. It's very surrealistic.
I like that. Very cool. Now that's the one that's you have that live, right? Or no?
Yeah. It's been out for a couple years.
Okay. I'm behind on some of your books. I need to read these. Okay, good. That'll give me something to, I can probably relate to that one, so I might get creeped out reading it, but that's okay. It should be very interesting. And, we're almost out of time here, and it's gone by quickly. I tell you what, it's been wonderful to have you on tonight. I'm so glad you joined us. Yeah. And, I hope your book takes off. What's that?
Thanks. I've enjoyed it, and it seems like it's been only 10 minutes.
I know. Yeah, time flies when we're in another orbit. Isn't that the case? For sure. But I certainly love talking to you. You really do have so much information. I encourage you to keep writing, and also write your own biography even deeper than where you've been. I know you've written some work about your own personal experiences, but it seems to me like you have so much knowledge and information, and keep it out there so people can appreciate it. Truly, that's my 2 cents. And definitely get the bio out for him. I think that people would like to read that, and they'd like to know how you interpolate the information. So, really good. And once again, if people want to reach out to you, the best way to do that is going to be on your blog, or what's the best way? You're everywhere. You're on Facebook and.
Well, I spend the most time on Facebook. I'm paying more attention to my blog. I have a second blog called PKD memoir at blogspot.com. Let me drop that into chat.
Okay.
Because the other one often has unrelated stuff.
Okay.
Let's see if I can type this without the typos.
Okay, if you need help, I've got one here. Awesome.
I do not have the necessary permission to complete the operation.
Oh, get out of here. Oh, not you. I'm talking about that stupid thing. Here, let me put it in there. The thing is so ridiculous. You know, it started that garbage with me earlier when I went into the chat room. I don't know what's going on here.
Well,
let me see if I can put it in. There it goes.
The word dot.
I got it. I put it in there for you, I believe. And everybody, we're going to head out of here. Thank you so much, Tessa. It's been a pleasure to have you on board. Thank you for everybody in chat. You guys are awesome in there. Thank you. And as a special, well, I guess we're going to actually stay tuned for Shiny Side Out with David Dunger and Becky coming up next to Sally One tonight from Down Under with their awesome show. Of course, I believe they're talking about the Anunnaki tonight. So stay tuned, everybody. Tessa, have a wonderful, wonderful weekend and a happy 4th of July. And it's great talking to you. And thank you, everybody. Night, everyone.
Radio at freedomslips.com, and we'll be right back after this message.
Thanks for tuning in to Revolution Radio. Here at Revolution Radio, we are listener-sponsored and commercial-free, but there still are bills to pay. In order to raise some needed funds to cover the cost, our station is offering a silver special. In the continental United States for a $60 donation, or in Alaska, Hawaii, or Canada for a $70 donation, we will send you an uncirculated 2018 1-ounce pure silver Eagle. The $70 donation, the extra 10 is to cover shipping, by the way, outside of the continental United States. When making the donation, you must put Silver Eagle promo in the notes on the donation. And thank you for tuning in to Revolution Radio at revolution.radio and freedomslips.com. Without you, there is no us. Revolution Radio, where information never sleeps.
This is the people's war. It is our war. We are the fighters. Fight it then. Fight it with all that is in us. And may God defend the right.
Warning! Warning!
We gotta stop them! They're gonna kill us all! See how the trouble you've started? Be they the government, be they industry, be they organized labor, be they anyone, or human beings. Time when the operation of the machine becomes so odious, makes you so sick at heart that you can't take part. You can't even passively take part. And you've got to put your bodies upon the gears and upon the wheels, upon the levers, upon all the apparatus, and you've got to make it stop. And you've got to indicate to the people who run it, to the people who own it, that unless you're free, the machine will be prevented from working at all.
Revolution Radio at freedomslips.com, the #1 listener-supported talk radio station, throwing ourselves upon the gears of the machine. Revolution Radio, where information never sleeps.
You called down the thunder, well now you got it.
Right, you tell them I'm coming, and hell's coming with me, you hear? Hell's coming with me!
Revolution Radio. The opinions expressed on this radio station, its programs, and its website by the hosts, guests, and call-in listeners or chatters are solely the opinions of the